Hey guys, Mr. Riley here, and I'm on the beautiful walkway over the Hudson. If we go back to the year 1787, the Constitution had just been written in Philadelphia, but it has to get approved by at least 9 of the 13 states. So this is where the work really begins. How do you convince a nation to accept a new plan of government? Yep, that's right. I brought my own copy of the U.S. Constitution. In 1787, there were 13 states, so each state held a special state convention to read and ratify this new plan of government. In New York, that convention was held in Poughkeepsie, New York. The people that supported the U.S. Constitution were known as Federalists, while the people that did not like this Constitution, who felt it went too far, called themselves the Anti-Federalists. The Federalists felt a strong central government was essential to the development of the new nation, while the Anti-Federalists were concerned that this new government would have too much power. This was arguably one of the most important debates ever in American history. In the 21st century, it's still just as important to look at the words of the Constitution and engage in discussions of how much power our government should and should not have. So come with me as I leave the walkway over the Hudson and go to Poughkeepsie to check out some of the sites where this debate occurred. All right, class, who's ready to go with me and go search for history? Don't forget, bring that Constitution. Right, I'm in Poughkeepsie, New York, and this is the site where the Federalists and Anti-Federalists debated the ratification of the Constitution of the United States. Poughkeepsie was the state capital back in 1788, and this is where Alexander Hamilton led the Federalists against George Clinton, who was an Anti-Federalist. So after many weeks of debates, finally the Constitution was ratified right here at the Dutchess County Courthouse. This courthouse is the very spot where the original courthouse was, and this is where a debate took place whether to ratify the Constitution that today we've accepted. But back in 1788, there was a fierce debate throughout the country, and every state would have a state convention to debate whether they wanted to have the Constitution be our plan of government. So this was a time of great debate and discussion, and it was a time when all Americans had to come together and pick a side, Federalists or Anti-Federalists. Okay, so inside the courthouse there's a nice display on the second floor going over the history of the ratification, and had a lot of primary sources. Unfortunately, there's no photography or videos allowed, so you'll have to take my word for it. At the courthouse there's a marker that was put up by the Daughters of the American Revolution, and it signifies that this is the very spot where the ratification took place. All right, guys, I'm at the Clinton House. So this is the home of George Clinton. He was the leading Anti-Federalist and governor. So after debating at the courthouse, he would come back to his home, and eventually he had to realize that he was not going to win this battle. Clinton's brother Gilbert was the one who switched sides to join the Federalists, but also he wanted to make sure that there was a Bill of Rights. So the Bill of Rights that we have is in part because of the Anti-Federalists, who decided that in order to go support the Constitution, they wanted a strong Bill of Rights. All right, guys, now I'm in the Poughkeepsie Post Office, and behind me is the mural that depicts the end of the Constitutional Convention here in Poughkeepsie, and you see a reluctant George Clinton shaking hands with a happy or somewhat smug Alexander Hamilton, and Hamilton was able to convince enough people to realize that the Constitution was the best deal, and the state of New York needed to be part of our Constitution and the United States of America. So thanks to Hamilton, we have New York entering in as the 11th state in the Union, and this was critical for the success of the new nation. All right, guys, so this is the end of our journey here in Poughkeepsie, and there's a lot of history that took place right here. And so come here to check out the walkway over the Hudson, but make sure you stop by and see where the history was made with the ratification of the Constitution. Remember, like it says in the Constitution, it's we the people, and it's up to us to keep the Constitution alive and well. So keep living history and keep checking out these sites and keep taking those selfies. All right, bye for now, and see you guys soon.